Well, hello and welcome to Gmodism Total Nerdy channel. Today I will teach you how to move over your system to a new hard drive. And basically, I have an old hard drive, it's really slow, and I wanted to have my system on a faster hard drive. So I will show you how I do this, how I take my entire system and move it over to a new hard drive. Windows, programs, all files saved. There are many programs to do this, to basically move over a system to a new hard drive. But because a friend of mine from Discord code, he recommended me this software because he's used it, we will use Macrium Reflect 7. So, hang on. We will first, of course, install the new physical hard drive in the computer. Hang on. Right, so here you have my computer. It's a tower PC, of course, and which this tutorial will cover. And yeah, safety first. This computer has been unplugged for many hours. You should definitely unplug your computer. You really should. You have to unplug your computer before mixing with its components. Otherwise, you might get shocked, literally. It should also be unplugged for a few hours. It's better because the capacitors in the power supply unit, one moment, this one down here, you can see power supply right there, which is the unit that's connected to the which is the new unit that's connected to the power outlet. It has capacitors in it which can shock you when it's current stored up in them. They have pretty high voltages. And no matter what, you shouldn't open one of these. You should let them be. In any case, let's dive into it. This one has been unplugged because I did unplug it before I went to bed, and now it's a new day, so it's been unplugged for like, I don't know, 20 hours or something, which is better. Also, in this computer we have a lot of different components, and there is a small chance you can wreck some of these components with static current. You can buy wrist arm things to like remove static electricity, but I just do like this. Remove your socks, remove your shoes. Socks first, shoes later. Yeah. And then you just stand on the ground like a normal human being. You can touch the chassis, which is usually grounded. And you should be pretty good to go, but don't touch components if you don't have to touch them, especially, you know, the conductive metal things and stuff like that. Now, this is of course only if you actually want to remove the old hard drive, and if you remove the old hard drive, you should be aware that Windows, operative system, all your stored file, all installed programs, everything stored is on the hard drive. So, of course, you have made backups before you remove the hard drive. This is the hard drive anyways, and if you would replace this, you would just remove it, but you might want to copy over everything you need first. This little cable here is the SATA cable, and this is the power supply cable. Anyways, I'll use this I'm going to continue to use this, so I'll just put it in here again, basically. But one thing I want to do to make it easier for myself is I'm gonna move the power cable here to this end power cable here. Let's see here. Like that, so that I have better reach. I'm gonna put it in here. And its hard drives are usually installed in this kind of little racks, just like this one. There we have it. This is the hard drive. Brand fresh. here it is. My 2 terabyte hard drive with 250 megabytes of flash RAM, which will make it faster in working stuff. To attach this to the motherboard, you also need this, a SATA cable. So different hard drives have different connections, but 99% of modern hard drives use this regular SATA connector, like this one here. It's 6 gigabytes per second transfer speed regular SATA cable. There are other variants. We have Express, and DVD drives use another type of SATA cable too. In any case, here we have it. It's a simple cable here, and you just wanna plug this in here. It looks like an L, and then it's connected just like that, like an L shape. And the connection beside that is the power supply. In a few rare cases, your power supply will actually be this little 4-pin thing that's right there. But that's less usual. It's usually this one. You'll see from your power supply what fits. But they're both just power. Alright, we'll begin to connect it to the motherboard. You can see here we have the motherboard. And this is a compact motherboard, so you can see the RAM sticks or the long things that goes up and down there. Normal size has 4 of these, and it's a little bit bigger, but they're usually kind of the same. If you zoom in here, you remove the cables here, you see we have SATA connection. This one that's here, this is the other hard drive. And because I haven't moved over any files from the old system to the new one, I will leave this in. Otherwise we could just connect in the new hard drive into that, but I want them both active at the same time. So what we will do is we will begin with connecting in the new SATA cable, which is pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm just going here. You find anywhere it sticks. You connect it. There we have it. It's now connected. Then for some cable management, this one goes on the back side of my chassis, but it's a little bit different with different chassis. Your main thing you should think about when putting the cables is that making the cables not stick or not get stuck in any of the fans. That's basically number one. Right, now I'll just need to move the computer around a little bit to take the cable out the other side and put it back in under the hard drive section, which I will show you in a little moment. And we'll go down here where we have our little cabinet for putting the hard drive. Alright, so here we have the power supply. Here we have the little rack thing that we can use to put a hard drive in. I'll bring some light too. You can see better. And we also have the SATA cable going through here. What we want to do is, of course, connect them up. So I'll take this one here, so I get better reach of the other ones. It's just the power, so it's not very important which one we choose. In any case, it's pretty funny because you might think that a very short cable for the SATA cable would mean less transfer time, but actually they have to be shorter then they have to be longer, longer than 30 centimeters, because otherwise it will be too fast and you might get some weird desyncing. Usually SATA cables are 30 centimeter or 50 centimeter. According to staff of the store I bought them, there is no like speed difference between the cable length. It's fine. It's not like HDMI. Anyways, stick it in the SATA cable it's attached to, and then we can put the hard drive in a rack. Placements of, they're not gonna jump around very much if it's not like some serious hardware problems. And we just have the sticker upwards. I don't think it matters at all, but anyways, why not? And it's now installed. Right. So now the hardware is installed. It's sitting in there right beside our other hard disk. We have two of them. It's installed, ready. We can now close the computer, make sure that all the connections are attached, plug it in and start up. Well, hello. Just a little addition here. So on your motherboard you have different types of SATA connections. I have the SATA Express, which is pretty fast and all. So for me it doesn't matter which port I connect anything to here, if it fits basically. However, if you use an older computer, you might have SATA 3 or SATA 2 or SATA 1. SATA 3 is 6 gigabits per second, which is pretty fast and all for basically most hard drives. And then we have SATA 2. We have the 3 gigabit per second half speed of that. So make sure that your hard drive isn't faster than the SATA port you connect it to. On most newer motherboards this will not be a problem, but just so you know, in my case it doesn't matter which one of these I use. Alright, when we are inside BIOS we can find our hard drive. BIOS look different on different computers, but we can look at peripherals. We see here SATA configuration, and here we can scroll through the different SATA connected things. Port 0, 2000.3 gigabytes. That it would be our new hard drive, and then at port 4 here, 3 we have the old hard drive. Just like that. Now we know it's connected, and that's basically that. Alright, so we want to install the software, of course, Macrium Reflect. You scroll down, free edition, download Macrium Reflect 7 free edition. We have a little different ways, different versions, and if you want to do some more advanced stuff you can buy another one. We will use the free version in this little video because it's pretty basic. So just click Home Use, Download and Continue. Then save the file. When the file is saved you go down in Downloads and run it. So here we have it. Choose edition, free, like this. Then we click download. It will download the file. Now the installation process will begin. Next, accept terms. And we get the home. Next. We will skip registration for now. You can do that if you like to. And you can choose here if you'd like to have a desktop shortcut or not. And install. Wait for the program to install. And when we're done, we click Launch Now. And there we have it. Macrium Reflect is successfully installed. Alright, so a little middle step. I actually done everything already, but let's just add this to the thing, because I did it myself, but I should tell you too. Alright, you want to defragment the disk before you clone it, just to be safe. So click Windows and write in defragment. Here you find it, defragment. And then you have this here. You have your C drive, which is the one you wanna defragment. Of course, this D drive is my old C drive because I already done it and it was successful, by the way. Spoiler. And then you just want to click optimize. And it's going to run an analysis to see if it's fragmented and then defragment it. It might take a few hours to do. Now, I just defragment this and copied it over to this drive. We can let it run the analysis anyways. But anyways, if you defragment before you clone it over, you are going to be sure that the drive is optimized and ready. Alright, I can just stop this because it's 0% fragmented anyways. And that's that. Now, proceed. Alright, now that we have our Macrium Reflect started up, we can refresh here to see what hard drives we have connected. Make sure you do not clone your system you want to save onto another hard drive with the data you want to save, because it will overwrite the data. It will just reformat it and everything. Anyways, I pulled out all other USB hard drives or USB memories and stuff like that to decrease confusion. And here we see GPT disk 1 and we have GPT disk 2, and this is of course the disk I want to clone. I'd recommend you to not uncheck stuff here because it might make the system not work. I'm not 100% sure what the FAT32LBA is for something, but from what I can find, it's probably stuff we want to have onto the cloning thing. And I mean, the recovery 400 megabytes, it's just as well to clone over everything. So we highlight this disk, we click clone this disk, and here we select the disk to clone to. We only have this one there. Make sure you select the right one. You don't want to write over any data you want to save. Alright, we click next and next, and we can check out here a little bit. Yeah, looks good, and we click finish. Do you want to alright, backup save options? Probably a good idea. Alright, now the cloning process has started, and it will take a long time because it's like 1 terabyte of data. It's very many files. So yeah, you'll need to let this run. This will take a long time, probably a few hours, but if you only have like a little hard drive you want to save of like, I don't know, 50 gigabytes or something, it will of course not just be a few minutes. And it also hangs on the read and write speed of the hard disks. I assume that the hard disk you're copying from is the slower one, and that will of course limit the speed of the transfer. In any case, we will let it run, and then I will check back with you when this is copied over. Hang on. Alright, now it's completed. Took 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but now it's done. Clone complete. Fantastic.
Right, so the cloning process was successful, and what's basically done now is that we restart the computer, and when we go into BIOS we select the new hard drive to be booted before the one that we use now, and that will make it into the system disk. Indeed. Remember that under the time you have been using the computer, maybe when you were cloning, these changes will not be present on the new copy of the disk, so copy over the files manually that you changed under the time that it was cloning, so you are sure that you don't lose them. Anyways, let's reboot the computer and go into BIOS and select the new disk.
Alright, then we select Startup, the BIOS setup, by clicking Delete. Now the boot order can look a little bit different on different BIOSes. On this BIOS we have it on BIOS features, and we have boot option priorities, and it's going to be boot option or boot order. Here you see P3, that's the old disk. P0, that's the new disk. This one I believe is my USB. So what you want to do is you select P3 as boot option number 2, and then P0 is on this BIOS automatically turned to boot option number 1. Right, and then we can click right there, save and exit. Save and exit setup. Alright, and now the computer will hopefully boot up on the new hard drive disk. We're just gonna see that we can actually log into Windows. We got this little screen here, everything looks normal. And we can now log in. Just turned out my keyboard's dead, so we'll gotta replug it in to make it live again. Alright, it's a pretty good sign, however, that this means that it's actually booting from a new hard drive. That peripherals work a little bit weirdly. Okay, let's try again. And it's alive. It's alive. Yeah, so I think we indeed made a nice success. This is now our new cloned hard drive. I can see it, you know, the folder that I was working on the desktop, it's not there anymore. Of course, I copied it over manually into this little folder here, so that I can just move everything, move it all to the new system. Other than that, it should be the same. If we look into, let's see here. Here you can see this current hard drive is now my new hard drive. However, because I cloned the hard drive, I cloned it so it's equal size to the old hard drive, which is now D. So that's a little bit funny. So basically, we will go and open up the rest of the space.
So basically, now that we have run the Macrium Reflect, you see that we have some allocated space here because we cloned a smaller disk to a larger one. You can set this directly when you do a clone, but it's actually pretty easy to just make it afterwards, probably more easy. So what you do is you click Windows key, X key, then you get the disk management, and then we load system information. We see here unallocated. This is our new installed hard drive. Right click on this C drive. You can make new partitions. You can call this E and have other files on it, but I just want to extend my C drive. So we're going to extend volume. We click next and next and finish. Now the magic. Suddenly, this is now a larger drive. Yep, you can see, we refresh it. Now the C has a lot of gigabytes free. And that's all you need to do. It's easier than to do it in Macrium Reflect directly, to be quite honest. So that's that. Alright, well, I hope this has helped you to get your hard drive nice and big and new and fresh. So we covered how to replace the hard drive physically, how to clone it over to a new hard drive, and how to make the partition, the nice size again. This has been a pretty long and pretty thorough tutorial, but I did hope it helped you and it didn't leave anything unclear of what you need to do to copy over your entire system like this. I should add, if you move to a smaller disk, you of course need to make sure that the data actually fits from the old disk. So you might need to, move over a lot of files to external drives when you do the cloning, so it fits. It should be pretty self-explanatory. But anyways, usually you move to a bigger disk size, and this is how you do. Increase the size afterwards and you're good to go. Perfect. It works really fine, and man, I see an immense increase in speed. My old hard drive was so slow. I'm a bit exalted just, copying over folders and files, and it's like, and I was like, whoa, I'm not used to this. I'm used to it taking ages and ages, and it's like instant. It's really cool. I'm a little bit exalted over my new hard drive. Wow, that's nerdy. Anyways, this is Gmodism Total Nerdery channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like. If you really like this video, you can support it by giving us a little tip and help support the channel in the future, or even become a patron. In any ways, I hope you enjoy this a lot, and I'll see you around. This is your host, Gmodism Total Nerdery channel, signing out.